It seems that some things never truly change. It's just a different brand at the moment. We saw what happened with the Stanley Cups and the Hello Kitty stuff, but now it's Juicy, the target currently. Resellers are the bane of my existence right now. And it's not necessarily because I am wanting anything in specifics. You know, I bought these pajamas a couple of years ago from TK Maxx. We call it TK Maxx in Australia. Don't even ask me why. I have no idea what the difference between TK and TJ Maxx is. These people are buying bags and all sorts of Juicy Couture merchandise in droves, large quantities, and then reselling them at a much higher price than they are originally priced at. So I actually had no idea, none whatsoever. I don't know how I've been so oblivious over the past couple of weeks that there is a new influx, new collection of Juicy Couture that is flooding TJ Maxx's at the moment. So I went to TJ Maxx a couple of days ago to really emphasize to you guys how cheap the Juicy Couture bags are right now. Because what you're about to see are people taking advantage of the fact that Juicy Couture has brought back one of their most beloved bags. And as you can see here, they are in fact not being sold for $200, $300. And it's frustrating because the most expensive Juicy bag inside of a TJ Maxx at the moment is, I think, around $119, and that's for their suitcases. Their big, like, weekender bags are $79.99, and a smaller Juicy bag is $49.99 up to $69.99. Now, mind you, this is in Australian dollars, so I'll put the conversion rates on the screen, and I'm sorry to say, but these newer versions of the Juicy Couture Daydreamer bags, they're just not worth what they're being resold for. Like, I'm telling you guys, I've felt these bags in person and they are not worth that much. And just a bit of backstory for anybody who doesn't know or isn't aware, Juicy has made a big comeback as of late due to using terry cloth again. Terry cloth was and is a fabric that they originally used for some of their tracksuits and earlier handbags in the 2000s. And I did a little bit of research to see if people in the 2000s were gagged over that fabric being used, but I found this post on a particular beauty forum that was posted in 2004 saying this. Like, my best friend is a Juicy addict. Anything Juicy she loves, and I don't understand it. Why would you want to pay like $150 for a terry cloth or Vela hoodie just because it has a zipper with a J on it, and $200 for the plain pants that look like they could have come from Target or Walmart? Even people from back then weren't really widely sold on terry cloth and velour being used in general for Juicy Couture, and I guess that's because a lot of people felt like it wasn't worth it. It was a bad fabric decision. And I don't know, terry cloth being sold for hundreds of dollars is a little wild considering, you know, nowadays maybe Juicy Couture doesn't really have as much pull as they had, so they can't really sell their pieces for that amount of money to begin with, because we're not in the trashy girl 2000s Paris Hilton era where it makes sense to drop that kind of money because it had status back then. Whereas now, yeah, Juicy Couture still has pull. They still have that clout, but I feel like they can't really go above what they're asking for at TJ Maxx and whatnot. And so that is why I'm kind of frustrated with the fact that people are taking these bags and are selling them for hundreds of dollars because they're not the original ones. They're not the ones that were made in the 2000s. They're not the same bag overall, period, dot point. And I'll be honest, I am not a Juicy Couture historian. I love Juicy Couture for the same reason that everybody else does. I grew up seeing that, so I love it for that reason, because the brand just represents that time. Bully me all you want in the comments, but this was my very first Juicy Couture piece of like anything. I have only had their perfume in the past that my dad bought me for Christmas, and it smells phenom. So let's get to the Daydreamer drama, because there's a lot currently happening at the moment with the Daydreamers being re-released again, and how the quantities inside of a TJ Maxx, for example, are quite limited. With them already being limited, people going in droves to get them, not because they want them for themselves, but to resell because they understand, wait a second, like everyone wants a Daydreamer, right? Okay, let me just spend $40, completely ruin people's days, because I'm gonna sell this for $3.50. I'm gonna show you guys some screenshots of what I found on Depop last night, in terms of my region here in Australia, what the Daydreamers from TJ Maxx are being sold for, because I just think, I'm sorry guys, I really like to push that powder into my face because I do have a bit of oily skin at the moment. And you probably sat there thinking, what the f is even all that special about a Daydreamer? Why does everybody want one? Why are resellers going in droves to go and get these bags? And it's because they were originally released in 2002, and it was the It Girl bags. From my understanding, these bags were still being sold up until like 2019-ish. I could be a year off, so if you want to correct me in the comment section below, feel free to, my love. But this time around, they have tried to put, I guess, like a modern twist, like a modern kind of spin onto the Daydreamer bag itself, and that's why people are like, oh my god, I have to have one for myself. But I would just like to mention real quick that it isn't just the Daydreamer bags that are being sold at such a ridiculous price, so much more than their original price at that as well. I just want to pop some pictures on the screen right now for you guys to see how much they're being sold for originally. Now, I hate what's currently going on at the moment, because I will be honest, feeling these bags in person, they are not worth this quote-unquote resale value. Like, I'm sorry, if the bag didn't come from the 2000s, like, and it doesn't have that age factor, the vintage factor, you know, the fact that it was made originally in the 2000s, then I just straight up would not spend my money on it whatsoever. The problem with these bags is the fact that the original ones were sold for a couple $100s. There were people even saying that back when they originally bought their original Daydreamer, it went for up to $495 brand new from Juicy Couture, not from a reseller or anything like that back then. And I mean, that's a lot of money considering how much they are currently being sold for at TJ Maxx. Like a quarter, you know, fifth of that price.
Move over Stanley Cup and Hello Kitty blanket scalpers. There's a new Scalping final boss in town. Now that I think about it, it's probably just the same people, different product. Yeah, we now have the discount store grade Juicy Couture scalpers. Juicy at one time was a high-end brand, which has evolved to the brand as we know it today, just licensing the name out for discount stores to sell their low-quality garbage versions. Going back to the scalping, people will go into Marshall's, TJ Maxx, Burlington, and buy these bags between $40 and $80 and turn around and sell them online for upwards of $150.
Now, I'll be honest with you guys right now. If I saw somebody in TJ Maxx having a full cart of Daydreamers, I'm getting one out of the cart for myself. I do not care whatsoever, you know, and it's not even the fact that I want these, but I'm just saying, like, I have seen so many posts from people saying that, you know, they went to their local TJ Maxx and there was somebody who had a whole cart full of them. Now, I don't know how, you know, true that would be, considering they are super limited inside of these TJ Maxxes, which means, like, how are there 50 bags in a cart? And even if there are 50 bags in somebody's cart, I don't encourage people to normally take something out of somebody's cart, but I'm so tired of resellers, and honestly, I think they low-key deserve it. They do deserve having something that they haven't paid for yet that isn't theirs being taken out of the cart, because why do you need 50 bags? Oh, I'm selling them. No, you're not. No, you're not. TJ Maxx is selling them. I just personally think that these bags are not worth what they are being resold for. And maybe you have a different opinion. Maybe you're like, wait, no, Drama Queen, these bags are actually really nice, and like I felt the quality and I really like it. Great, cool. For $300 though? No. They're being sold for as little as $59.99. No. They don't belong at a $300 price tag. Oh my god, these aren't even looking like sisters. They're looking like long-lost cousins right now. That's a problem with being half blind, is like you cannot close just like one of the eyes and be like, oh yeah. Where is everything right now? It's just a blur, bro. I am so tired of this constant greedy behavior because it ruins it for everybody else who's just trying to cunt out. And you may be sat there wondering, you know, why in the are people even paying that much of a price to begin with from resellers? Like, isn't it the buyer's fault at some point too? Well, yeah, because you're supporting that entire market of things being resold at that price, because let me tell you, it would not be priced that way if people weren't buying it. But a lot of the reason as to why people will, you know, fork out that kind of money is because they don't have a TJ Maxx near them.
Every single time that cool or fun or like popular things come out, it never fails to show me how truly greedy and selfish people are, because to go out of your way to buy in surplus like an entire stock, because you know things like this where they're limited quantity, they're not going to come back, you buy them all to either put them in your closet to sit there or resell them at a higher price than even the original brand sells them, is insane. We already have enough issues as a society being able to afford like our basic needs. When we finally have little things that we can get for ourselves, even that is taken away from us. Like, it's just, I'm so tired of these resellers. I'm tired of these companies not limiting them. Like, it's just getting so out of hand and it's so greedy and selfish.
Now, my big problem with reselling is that it takes away from the human experience of going into the store and buying the bag yourself. Like, that experience gets stripped away from you because now you're forced to have to go online yet again to buy something for double, triple, quadruple the price of what it's originally worth. Like, I wish these people understood when buying the TJ Maxx Daydreamer bags. Save your money. They are just not worth it. They are not worth that price tag. And I just don't understand why people are even willing to pay that much anyways. Like, we already went over the fact that some people don't live near a TJ Maxx. Maybe they don't have access to that in general because it's not in their country, it's not in their region for whatever reason, and they want to experience having the bag too, just like everybody else. But the thing is, it's like, not everybody has a bag, and it is fine to miss out on that experience as well. Like, for example, you know, if you ask me right now, Caitlin, would you like a Daydreamer bag? Like, sure, they're really, really cute. But I am also not going to support what's happening at the minute with these resellers because they're just gonna keep going out there and constantly do it. Like, I'm sorry, but sometimes I don't want to buy shit online. You don't really know if something's gonna fit you when it comes. You can't feel the product you're buying. There's no experience with online shopping. It's just waiting for your parcel to be delivered, and then that dopamine rush is completely gone.
Okay, you guys, this is a juicy bag that I'm pretty sure just came out yesterday because I just saw it for the first time. My friend sent me a video of it for the first time, so I'm pretty sure this bag came out yesterday. And this person right here is selling them for $155. New juicy couture bags are not worth that amount whatsoever. Like, none of them. Here is another one for $130. These bags, I think, are about $39.99 retail plus tax. And here is another one that someone is selling for $250. Here's the person right here. $250 for a $40 bag that is brand new, not vintage, and does not have any worth to it whatsoever.
Reselling in general has kind of destroyed that very human experience of getting so excited. You know, seeing that there is something that you really want that is of limited stock in the first place, buying it, being like, oh my god, I can't believe I got this at like $49.99. And now you're having to pay through the ass for it because there is this imaginary value being put onto it. Yeah, I'll say that. I'll stand on my business when I say that too, because yes, the bags are not worth $300, $400, not even $200. Like, I understand if you buy a particular bag and you're like, actually, you know, come to think of it, I don't think that this bag is me. I think I just bought it because, you know, silly consumer brain, whatever, trying to get out of that habit. And then you put it on Depop for maybe $10, $15, $20 more. But these people are making it so egregiously hard to attain one of these bags. And you know what? Sometimes you just have to accept that you're gonna miss out on things. And that's not me defending resellers, because so far this video has been bagging them out. Like, I understand that there are juicy collectors and people who are really passionate about juicy couture. I mean, at some point, I have to call it for what it is. Buying up all these bags just to be another soulless capitalist. Cool. Because here's the thing, right? I am really not trying to tell anybody how they should or should not spend their money. That's not my place. I don't work your job. That's not my income. Who the f am I to tell you what to spend your money on? I just personally think that by spending hundreds of dollars on this particular TJ Maxx Daydreamer bag, you are supporting this industry in continuing to grow. Because what this means is that in future, there is always going to be another thing that people obsess over. There is always going to be, you know, a trendy handbag that everybody wants. There's going to be another Daydreamer. Like, I promise you guys, Juicy Couture is seeing what's happening at the moment, and they aren't silly, okay? They themselves are capitalists. So of course they're going to see this and they're going to be like, wow, let's do another drop where we say that everything is limited, but in reality, it isn't. We're just going to slow down stocking these shops, you know what I mean? If you're already willing to spend a few $100s on a handbag, go for something that is of quality, or maybe try and find a vintage Juicy bag. I don't mean any shade, but Juicy has put some real shitters out there alongside with their really nice terry cloth bags, the, you know, re-release of the Daydreamers and stuff. And it's like, why are you selling that for $150? No one's gonna buy that. You wasted your money. Like, I'd quite honestly support resellers more if they weren't constantly taking advantage of people just like these big, greedy corporations are. I think specifically taking away the happiness and fun experience of somebody getting something they really want is kind of honestly, because resellers are very aware of that and they know the demand of these kind of products. No, I'm sorry, I can't support what you're doing because you are buying something brand new at something not even the company is pricing their products at. Like, okay, here's the thing. With resellers, there is a fine line they walk, because there is a difference between somebody who is at a Goodwill bin, who finds these really nice pieces of clothing, but maybe they have stains on them. Maybe, you know, the seams are undone, they're ripped, and this person takes that piece of clothing home and restores it back to life, sells it for maybe, you know, a bit of money, but they definitely worked hard to bring this product back to life. Like, I'm sorry, I think we should all be for recycling and reusing what we already have here on this earth. And, you know, if somebody takes their time out to do that for people, then it's gonna cost a little bit. And, you know, people should be understanding of that. But it's another thing going into a shop that's not even pricing their merchandise that high of a price, like we see right here, there's also this separate issue that I don't really see a lot of people divulging in enough, and it is the buyers of these bags, you know, that are being resold on Mercari and Depop for hundreds of dollars. I've said this all throughout this video. I completely understand wanting this particular bag, but sometimes it genuinely is okay. It's fine missing out on things, because you've got to understand there will always be a daydreamer. There will always be another daydreamer. There will always be something else that is cool to obsess over. Like, it isn't the be all end all if you don't get this bag. For example, I would never ever spend that kind of money on a bag in the first place. I don't care who it's made by. I really fucking don't. Because the problem is, and it's no shade to Juicy Couture themselves, but the bag feels a little bit cheap, and a lot of people aren't really understanding this because they either don't have a TJ Maxx in their area or they haven't been able to feel it themselves. And I'm sorry, it is your fault if you spend a couple of $100s on this bag and you receive it and you're like, oh, actually that wasn't worth it. You fell for it. You fell for that consumption. You fell for that consumerism. Considering Juicy is giving people the chance to buy affordable Juicy, ruining that chance for people is shitty. I bought my Daydreamer off of Depop for $300 because I'm a mindless consumer, because that's what it comes down to. I don't give a if you go into TJ Maxx, right, and you see that bag and you're like, yes, I want to buy that bag, because there's a difference between like the overconsumption brain and somebody who just wants something because they want it. And it's not a bad thing to want a new handbag. I'm here to tell you that you do not need to drop a couple $100s on these bags on Mercari, on Depop, on Poshmark. It's silly to do that, because what happens if in a couple of weeks Juicy Couture is seeing what's going on at the moment and they're like, oh my god, we can make more money from these idiots, and then they just start stocking all of these TJ Maxxes with a bunch of Daydreamers, and now their value just plummets, essentially. And I really want to emphasize too that it does not matter if you do not own this bag. Like, at the end of the day, guys, it is just a bag. And I know that it may be minimizing some people's feelings because they've either wanted it ever since the 2000s, but understand that it's not the same bag from the 2000s. And regardless, it is just a bag. And there will always be another bag for you waiting, sweetheart. Like, I doubt that you don't already have enough bags alone. I refuse to be somebody who spends hundreds of dollars on something just to say that I own it. Because honestly, who cares? Nobody's going to be like, oh my god, you own the Daydreamer. That is so insane. My entire philosophy in life is like, what is meant for me will be, and what is not won't. So with all of that being said, everybody, let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. Have you run into anybody recently who has been hoarding these bags in their carts, you know, just to go home to resell for hundreds of dollars, and absolutely taking advantage of the consumer? Once again, it's like, we really can't have nothing nice around here. It's insane. Or if you have anything you want to send me at all, send it over to dramakweensubmissions@gmail.com. Thank you so much for your stay at Yappersville today, everybody. I hope to see you all again soon. Take care of yourselves, and most of all, love your fucking selves.